Yeah, Chasey's gonna be able to
Oh, it's
see.
live.
Oh, here we go. Here we are. We're live, people. Back at it again. To be honest, I forget which episode we're at as well. So we're just
85 this week. I think I said 85 last
legitimately
week.
85. This is the Chadwick Ochocinco episode. Don't forget it. It's all about him. Maybe not. Maybe it is. We'll find out.
Yeah. Were you gonna say it wasn't 85?
No, I was just gonna say I'm gonna go back at some point and try to like put the puzzle pieces together to see like where we're actually at. But I gotta do it soon because we just keep going up.
I uploaded like the last 2 or 3 on Spotify, and it was the last one was 84. So that's yeah. We're at 85. So, but yeah, we got a fun, I guess, election night special of just randomness. And we'll see what we talk about, kind of see how the flow of the podcast goes, and go from there.
Yeah, I actually want to start off with something. Something I was thinking about today. It is election day, right? Do you guys? To me, I'm not a big political guy. I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't know all the ins and outs of the politician world, but to me, this kind of feels like a sporting event. I don't know if it should or it shouldn't, but that's how it feels to me. Like it's like, you got all these the reporters are like the announcers, and they're showing the stats on the screen, who's winning which state, how many points to victory, and it's just.
In my opinion, they're making it into that when it shouldn't be, but they're like making it into that type of thing. And it's like pitting people against each other, which is part of the issue to get into too much. But
yeah, I agree. I equated it today like a Chiefs Super Bowl, where it's like a lot of people hate the Chiefs. So either they're going to go to bed tonight and hopefully the Chiefs lost the game, or you're going to wake up and find out that Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, and by default, all the Taylor Swifties just are reigning dominant again. That's really what it did feel like, though. It's like that, and it's also like a snowstorm where you're like, oh, I know it's coming, snow. I don't know if we're going to have school tomorrow. We're going to wake up and find out what happened, if it snowed or if it didn't snow. Like, that's the type of feeling. Yeah, like the other feeling that was kind of hanging over today, I guess.
Yeah,
for sure.
I guess it's also like World Cup, like cricket or something, because it really takes like 5 days.
No,
it takes like 5 days to just keep trucking. You don't know what the ending result's going to be.
I've said it before about bringing up cricket on the show. I'm done with it because we don't know. We still don't understand. And the fact that you're comparing.
Yeah, we know it's not over in a night, and this isn't going to be either.
Well, we still don't know how it works.
I don't know how this works either.
Yeah, I honestly, I feel like in years past, like it was always over by like midnight for some reason. That's what it always seemed like.
Well, because of the like the mail-ins and stuff, and like I know Pennsylvania can't start counting stuff. I forget what the exact like schedule is, but you can't start counting votes until like the day of or something. So it just gets so backed up. Especially when Pennsylvania is like so narrow and whatever. But on to non-political stuff, I guess.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, in other words, that was keeping us afloat during this election time. So at least we had that as a positive. If you're not politically inclined and you like to keep the show from that, we could talk a little sports and get into that a little bit too. I don't know if there's any trades that stuck out with you guys today, but I thought a few actually that went through were notable to say the least. And it was compared to like other years, it felt like there was so much more activity today than any other year I could imagine.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess from the Jets standpoint, obviously Williams trade made sense. I obviously they got Devontae Adams, and the 1-2 punch of him and Garrett Wilson is pretty potent. And Williams probably was not happy with the targets he was getting. Made sense for both sides. Got a 5th round pick on that one. The Steelers got a potential weapon for Wilson and out on the opposite side of Pickens. So that was the one that stuck out to me, just being a Jets fan. But obviously there was some other big ones. What was it, Latimer to the Commanders?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Dan Quinn just loading up the freaking first place Commanders already, adding a veteran, Marshawn Lattimore, who's not going to have to do it all to help his team win. I mean, that's a great position for him. And just follow suit with Dennis Allen getting canned days ago. So the Saints are basically have thrown in their white flag already. And shout out Derek Carr, another failure of a year for him.
Yeah, it's bad. I feel like he's had more bad years than good years, honestly.
Yeah, and they started out that like
2-0 and like the best offense in the league.
yeah.
I know they all got hurt.
And Chris Olave, man, just destroying my fantasy team. He's going up there with Diggs as some of my least favorite wide receivers.
Yeah, it's tough too. Yeah, like it's a tough one because he can't like it's not something like it was not like it was a Tua play and he went and jumped in with his head or something like that. It's like just somebody came in and cranked him illegally and knocked him out. And I was like, dude, what is this guy's luck? Like, what are the odds? And, like most of his seem like because of hits or like get slammed down. Tough.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess the other notable one was the Darius Smith trade.
Yeah, I guess that was one that was definitely rumored, especially because the Lions seem like the best team, one of the best teams in the NFC, and they just needed to add some pieces to help with losing Aiden Hutchinson. But if he says he's going to come back from the Super Bowl and the way that the Lions are playing, it's kind of hard not to believe him. So but still, you could always use depth just in case. But yeah, I feel like that's a good move. Yeah, that would be crazy. His leg was snapped. That was one of the most disturbing videos I've seen all year.
I still haven't watched it, and I still don't plan. I haven't watched that one or the Chris Godwin. I don't plan on watching either.
Yeah, the Hutchinson one was just weird because he just slammed into the like.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it live, but I didn't obviously catch that. And
oh yeah, it was a tough one.
What do you think of the Ravens? They made the big move.
Chase, one of your favorite corners, I feel like, in the league. Yeah. I mean, he's older now.
Yeah, he's older. Had some injury history. Has like 138 point passer rating against him this year, so not quite great, but it's a good move. It literally cost them nothing. Of the two guys they brought in, they didn't really give up anything. And if Deontay Johnson doesn't sign with them in the offseason, they're just going to get a compensatory anyways, and it's probably going to be higher than what they gave up with the Panthers. So in a way, I feel like it's a win-win. You're adding bodies here. Even if Tre'Davious White isn't 100%, he can still at least help coach a guy like Nate Wiggins and just be there, use him for his experience, and hopefully down the stretch he can get a few reps in. But he's definitely not a guy I'm expecting them to play a lot of the games. I think the miles added up on him. He was an all-pro player in Buffalo, really solidified himself, and then just knee injuries are the worst, honestly. The human body sucks, and it's so bad. And I wish the knees were a little stronger than what they were because there's so many guys who's had promising careers that ended after 1 or 2 years, and it's just because of a knee injury and nothing to their abilities. So it's tough, but hopefully he can still have the good vision and be there to make some plays and help out on this defense as we quest for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the offense. I mean, when they're going, they're going. I mean, they're definitely top 3 offense in the league when all the wheels are turning. That defense just needs some work, but they have the power to do it. And you are probably like, not that we ever root for injuries, but I'm sure like last night with Mahomes, it was kind of like,
oh yeah,
if it was like it wouldn't be like terrible as a Ravens fan.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching
again, not rooting for injuries. But
no, anytime you get there's non-context, it was pouring rain. Obviously, he's trying to do one of his trickery plays and jams his knee into the ground.
Yeah, and I don't know. I wasn't too upset. I mean, he's still going to have a long, fruitful career for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's already delivered enough Super Bowls. They can take a year off and still not have anything affect them. Even with Carson Wentz, they could probably still make a deep playoff run somehow, some way. I don't know, but somehow.
Foles for the Chiefs.
That's what Chase.
Yeah, that was my
Yeah, you called that. We could pull that from the vault earlier this year. It was when we were talking about Sanders becoming the next Cowboys head coach. You brought up the Carson Wentz thing, so
that's looking like
yeah. No, really quick. I want someone. Can someone explain to me the Cowboys move today? Like the Jonathan Mingo from the Panthers. Was he like their 4th wide receiver on the depth chart coming into the year for Carolina? I think this is his 2nd year. Just another draft pick they gave up. QB's hurt. I mean, essentially the whole team's hurt. I don't know someone like Jonathan Mingo gonna help win us the next couple of games. I'm not
for what they gave up. What they gave up to get him.
It was a fourth round.
Yeah, they gave up a fourth
Yeah,
round.
They got
What?
yeah, because it wasn't like DeAndre Hopkins, wasn't that like a similar?
7th? Yeah, he was like a conditional 7th. Deontay Johnson, who I feel like is Mike Williams was a 5th. All those guys have way more production than Jonathan Mingo.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not even. I don't.
That's not even what we're lacking. And once again, like I get it, but you have bigger needs to fill.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm the Cowboys, you need this group without like Dak and CD are their main guys. They're not going to win more without those two, probably. Yeah. So now's the time, like to get some draft capital, not to give it away.
Yeah,
especially because I think I saw Dak and CD are like
40%.
Yeah, it's a 40 or 45% of the whole like cap. So they got to start acquiring some draft capital, not giving away, especially a 4th. Like that's a pretty valuable pick.
Yeah,
yeah, for where they're going to be picking. Yeah, that's like a late 3rd round pick, possibly.
Yeah, I don't know. It is a weird one for sure. I don't know how to explain that one.
Okay, I just want to be.
Does Mingo have control? Like, is he a guy they think?
Yeah, I think he still has like 2 years if he has like a standard 4-year deal. And he's only been in the league 2.
This is year 2, right?
So they just think he can genuinely become like a solid 2 or 3 option, I guess.
I don't know. He was like literally the 4th guy on like the depth chart to start the year for Carolina.
And that's Carolina.
Yeah, and that's bad. That's so bad.
I don't know.
I don't know. I feel bad for you because it's another confusing move. I mean, they bring in Trey Lance kind of inexplicably. That happens. Then you bring in Jonathan Mingo. It doesn't really add up. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what kind of metric they're using.
You might see Trey Lance. Is he the backup or no?
No, Cooper Rush.
Oh. Do you think they give him a chance? Do you think they at least give Trey?
No,
they're paying him like $6 million.
Yeah, I don't think they will.
Paying him. Well, they should be paying Derrick Henry to be running the rock for them.
I know. I'm literally so mad.
You said at the beginning of the year you wanted Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
I've heard.
That's been the key, literally the key that they're missing too.
Like, and he trains in Dallas in the offseason, so he basically is always there.
I mean, the Cowboys are setting themselves up too to like draft a guy like Jonty. Is it Jonty?
Oh yeah, Jonty. Yeah,
the Boise State guy.
Yeah, Genty. Yeah,
Genty. Yeah.
But I mean, that would be if they go 1st round pick running back with this team. How would you feel about that, Ryan?
I feel like I don't know. It's so hard with their needs.
They have a lot. Yeah.
I mean, I honestly probably offensive lineman, and then either linebacker or running back.
What if they get into the top 10 draft and try to trade back for like 2 late 1st round? Like,
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, especially because now it's like so quarterback heavy and up there and wide receiver. I mean,
if you guys have a chance to get Travis Hunter, you should do that. That would be the move. That guy plays 2 positions.
Yeah, and he might want to try to actually play both.
Yeah, I feel like, but he's gonna be a top 3 pick. I don't think there's any way he slides past number 5. So I don't know where the Cowboys are projected to go right now. That would be obviously you're just kicking off to next season, run it with a new coach, new players, new weapons. But
I mean, they're still like in the hunt.
They're like the bottom of in the hunt. I mean, they're only 3-5, but
the Jets are 3-6, and I'm feeling. Although the Jets,
we said must-win game, and they won the must-win game, but now they're going to have like 3 more straight must-win games.
Garrett Wilson was just, I mean, he's going against me in fantasy, but I don't care. Just some absurd catches, and Devontae Adams finally had a good game after the terrible first half where I don't even remember his name, dropped the ball at the end zone. But that was a win they needed, a must-win game. I said they needed next 4 games. They need to go 3-1 to get back into it, and that was a big start against the Texans. CJ Stroud looks banged up for sure. He's not the same. Doesn't look like the same quarterback as last year. But
yeah, which is expected. I mean, there's definitely a lot more tape on him now, and he's been losing weapons by the week. So
Diggs, Nico still out. Yeah,
and Nixon's been in and out of the lineup too, which hasn't really helped them a whole lot either. So it's like once they can finally get everybody back, which isn't going to happen, but once I can get a healthiest team back, whenever Nico's back, I think maybe this week or next week they're projecting him to be back. So that would be a big help with them, just because he can lead the team. He did it all last year, and just adding Diggs was a big help. But yeah, it was interesting. I feel like some teams, contenders, the Steelers made a couple moves that I feel like helped them. They got Preston Smith for basically a package of bubble gum from the Packers. I feel like he's better than what they gave up, and especially because they already have established outside linebackers. He's definitely somebody I would have liked the Ravens to pick up or at least kick the tires on because they need pass rusher help bad. That's definitely one of the areas. The secondary for sure, but even just pass rushing has been a problem. And to bring in a veteran guy like that is a win for the Steelers. So as in division rivals, I'm a little mad that they're also adding up and Russell's looking good. And even if Russell's out, Justin Fields was doing a really good job with that team. So they feel like they're firing on every single cylinder possible. And it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be, and the Bengals aren't totally out, I don't think either. They're still a team that can just make some noise, even it's going to be the playoffs, but they can still be game wreckers for everybody else in this division. And we have to circle back to them one more time as the Ravens. I don't know if the Steelers played them yet. Not sure.
Steelers play the Bengals.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think they still have 2 matchups against them. So that very pivotal the way the NFC North can go. It's definitely not far from over in that conference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I guess they have a tough matchup. They play the Commanders this week, then the Ravens, then they do have to play the Bengals twice. They have to play the Chiefs again. They have to play the Ravens actually twice. So
yeah,
that's a gauntlet. And for the Jets, I feel like their schedule is not as hard. I feel like they can scoop by, especially when you get the beat up on the Patriots. But and the Dolphins were half a wheel team.
Yeah, I mean they get the Seahawks and Colts. They get in the next 3 weeks or so. They get to play the Jaguars, Rams,
bang with the Colts.
Yeah,
and the Jaguars.
Cardinals are like you never know week to week what you're going to get from them. It seems like they're kind of I don't know.
They'll be one of those teams that needs like win to get in last game of the season.
They just seem to play like some weeks you feel like they could like be a legit playoff team, like go somewhere, and other teams weeks they don't seem like they can beat the Panthers.
But the NFC West as a whole is
it's rough out there.
That's true. Anyone can win that.
Entire division is playing like the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah.
It's weird how the North and West like flip flopped almost.
Yeah. I mean, you thought LA was the Rams were having another one of those seasons after the post Super Bowl. Couple of injuries, start off 1-4, and all of a sudden they rattle off 3. And
I thought they were dead. I thought they were
so dead. I thought they were so dead.
Stafford still got a little bit left.
Gosh.
Yeah, they've been making it work with just whatever they can find. And they're a team, too, that's just had zero regard for the draft picks. They even don't care.
Yeah.
If we can trade it, we're trading it. And I can't believe they still have a team. They're finding people. The fact they're able to find people that are late round picks and or undrafted and they're starting for them consistently is really unbelievable. That's a masterful job by the scouting department and GM just to be able to do that. Like every year, there's just guys on defense. I'm like, who is this? Who is it? I think they have a guy right now who has 4 picks in 4 straight weeks. Yeah. Never heard of him before the season. No idea where he's from.
Chase, I feel like you would be a good I feel like you would love to do that as like a side job or something. Like just be like a scout where you just like get sent to like low Division I college football games to find like that guy.
Yeah. Scouting tonight, a MAC game. Mac's back, by the way. Finally some midweek action. Yeah, we've been suffering through Conference USA midweek games. Not so bad, but not the action. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, that's a good transition into some college football too. We had some stuff there to talk about.
Yeah, back at it. I feel like we should just go right at the big thing. That's the thing that stung us all this past weekend. Really was a scooter to the shins for us as fans.
I love that analogy.
Oh my gosh, that Chase. The analogy was just perfect of the scooter to the shins. I mean,
yeah, it was a tough one to watch. We rattled off all the stats last week about Ohio State and Penn State. Really a must win, no doubt about it. Is Penn State's odds lowered because of this? Certainly. Are they out of the playoffs? By no means. They're still in it, a one-loss team, and they're going to win out the regular season. And if they really mean business, they should curb stomp every single one of these last few games. There should be no reason that their average margin of victory can't be 21. These next few teams are the garbage dwellers of the Big Ten. people who are just placeholders for the season, really not fighting for a lot. Most of these coaches are going to be gone at the end of the season. So Penn State will do these teams a favor, make these guys look bad, make the athletic director's decision easy to get rid of these guys. And for Penn State, I feel like they should also be considering somewhat of a change, just because Franklin, for the most part, just doesn't seem like he can set the standard of what it needs to be to beat a team. And I feel like this Ohio State team is beatable this year. They're not the Ohio State team that they've been the last few
Agreed.
years.
Yep.
I think that Penn State matches up with them extremely well, especially offense and defense. They have 2 stud running backs. We have 2 stud running backs. Both have good quarterbacks. The only place they really edge us is at wide receiver position. Obviously, Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Egbuka, who I think is going to be a soon-to-be Cowboy at the end of this year, just because of his name and stature alone, and he's an Ohio State guy. He would just add to the ridiculous name list of Dallas Cowboys. So Emeka Egbuka, he's coming to a stadium near you in his Dallas Cowboys uniform. Well, that's a long-term prediction. We'll see how that ends up going. But
hey, you hit a couple. So
back to the matter at hand, James Franklin. The last drive alone, I didn't realize this. Shout out to my dad, Eagle Eyes. He spotted this right away. Franklin seems to take over the play calling in the last few minutes of the quarter, especially the fourth quarter. I don't know what that's about. I feel like
offense,
that's a horrible.
defense. Is it
I
on
think
offense?
I think offense. I think he was the reason that they called 3 straight same plays with no juice, and then called a dumb play action pass to a guy who wasn't targeted a lot the whole game.
Worst. By the way, first off, if you want to be a playoff, a championship team, let alone a playoff team, 1st and goal at the 3 at home against your biggest rival ever, and you get stuffed. And yeah, like you said, I mean, 3 straight exact same run scheme, and then you pass on 4th and goal at the 1. Ridiculous. It was just awful. And oh my goodness, I was just out tailgating, so I'm hearing the crowd, but I have it on the radio. It was just like, it was so painful to listen to, let alone them running out the next 6 minutes, which was the worst.
Oh yeah.
But the goal line was the biggest. I wanted them to run it with Tyler Warren, like a QB sneak type of play. I don't know if I was crazy for that. Just get him under center, let him tank. He can do it. Just get the ball. Anyone. I feel like was there not one QB sneak?
I don't think so. And Drew Aller was running for his life. He could have ran the ball in. He could have just he just read option. Classic college play. He could have done it. He was running. It would have given you an advantage with one more person blocking. Could have been Tyler Warren. Could have been this extra offensive lineman that they brought in. Yeah. Just not good. And you had a chance, 2 red zone possessions. You come away with 0 points. I get one was the turnover at the end of the game. Not much you can do there. It was just a great play by the defender, but you wish that the receiver would have been able to just maintain possession or at least knock it away. But horrible. The only reason you end up getting a touchdown is because of the defensive score. Yep. You start the game off 10-0.
10-0.
That game
so good.
I 10-0. I was like, we're on cloud 9. All we got to do is just run the ball out. We have 2 stud running backs. We just can't let Ohio State get the ball back, and not the case. Like, it just seemed like everything they did, they checked it off and then never went back to it. It was like, start the game, have an 8-minute possession to start the game. Like, what? That's unheard of. Like, you were destroying their defense. And even if you just go through the box score for the Penn State side, it really tells the story. Your leading rusher, Drew Aller, that shouldn't have been the case. That shouldn't have been the case at all. I feel like Nick Singleton got a criminal amount of carries in this game. He was not featured at all. He's a game wrecker. He's a guy that can blow the door open, get a big 50-yard rush, get the momentum going, get the crowd in it. Barely had any catches, and your leading receiver was Nick Singleton. So not the fact that you didn't get him involved, but he shouldn't have been your leading receiver. Tyler Warren did nothing the first half. Couldn't get him involved. That's a slap on the wrist there. Your running backs just seem like to be all over the place. You just check downs, not good. The whole thing just felt like they were trying to play backwards, and it's like they don't have a game plan almost. Like, they just go in and they're going to let the defense dictate what they're going to do instead of just going out there, forcing their will and making Ohio State quit on themselves like the way Penn State did on that last drive. It was just, it's hard. And I don't know that Franklin has it. The guys love him. I don't think he's a bad coach. If he went to another spot, he's still going to be a winning head coach. Still probably going to take a team to the playoffs, but he just doesn't have that little last piece of like, let's go out there and kill them. Let's go out there and leave no one out there type deal.
The
And
splash of Dan Campbell.
yeah, and there's a guy in the Big Ten right now, got his first shot at a big Power 5 program. He's undefeated. I think he's going to give Ohio State hell when they play in a few weeks. That's Kurt Cignetti at Indiana. He's a guy where I don't know if he would leave after 1 year. I don't know if that's his business, if that's what he's into. But if Penn State's serious and you want a guy that learned under Nick Saban, that knows what it is to set a standard, to have no mercy, just go in there and make it a drag out, balls deep UFC championship round fight every single game, no matter who the opponent is, it's that guy. And I think because that's his attitude, the team identifies that, and it would be unstoppable at Penn State. The reach he would have, the accesses, the resources, the recruiting, he could finally lock down people from Pennsylvania to stay here, play for Penn State, return to glory. I think he has it. He's was coaching at IUP, went to James Madison. We know the story. He's been on game day. They featured him a few weeks ago, but that's a guy where I feel like he could do it. He may be older. He's 62, but his energy, his presence, the way he stops at nothing for perfection, and he sets the standard. And Nick Saban talks about all the time, what's your standard? If you don't have a winning mindset where you're just going to go out there and create chaos and leave no man out there, then I don't know what you're doing at the college level. You're not going to win. And I feel like that's James Franklin's MO. Like, he does it. He beats all the bad teams. He doesn't beat the good teams. And it's not acceptable at Penn State. There's 2 guys, 3 to 4 now that we've added people. You have to consider Oregon and possibly USC as those other 2 teams that are just going to be the game wreckers. But Ohio State and Michigan every year have to be a win, no matter what. Doesn't matter if they're on the schedule, off the schedule. You're probably going to face them even in the playoffs. So even though they're not on the schedule, it could be matching up with them in the Big Ten championship game or in a playoff game. And I don't know. It makes me worried. It's like, well, right now, I don't know where we're at, but for a long time, it was projected to play Boise State. John T would have his way with us. And they're really just a one-horse machine. It's him. That's their entire team. They live and die by the fact that if he can get 200 yards and 7 touchdowns. If they can't, they're useless. I mean, really. What are we talking about here? A Mountain West team. They don't have anywhere near the same resources that a Penn State has. But they could go out there and blow it because they're just going to go and let Boise State dictate what they're going to do. And I don't think like that's a good mentality to have. So it's a tough one. That was a long ramble about Penn State, but it's hard to watch. It's hard to, and it's also just hard to swallow the fact for 8 straight meetings, they haven't done anything against Ohio State. 8 times, 8 years, nothing.
Yeah. And, you're talking about that, brought up Boise State. I'll just share quick. This was the first playoff ranking. I was trying to find the actual bracket for it, but I didn't see that, like who would play who. But so top 12, it's kind of weird to see this like top 12.
Yeah.
Like Alabama as an 11 is sketch.
You're getting into like March Madness type territory.
But that's the first like official one that got put out. So
and Alabama, LSU play this weekend, I think.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of implications. One of these 2 teams is going to have 3 losses, I believe. So it's going to be interesting to see how strong the SEC is. I feel like it's not out of the realm. I guess you have to consider the strength of the schedule, the strength of the opponents. Obviously, Notre Dame has a shit loss. Nothing they can do about that. They don't play anyone else to erase that. So I feel like they could probably even be a couple notches lower. They could even realistically be the 12 seed through the shakes out because of just their strength of opponents. They played Navy. They beat the shit out of them. Good for them. You lost to Northern Illinois. I don't know what to tell you. At least Penn State, we lost to Ohio State, but they're the number 2 ranked team right now. So it's not it's not the end of the world for us. It's not like we went and dropped the game against Bowling Green to start the year.
And that's the thing, like you guys said, like last week, you knew even if you lost, it's unfortunate you guys lost, and we lost, but you knew it wasn't. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Like you're forgetting we're all on the same team here.
We gotta ride him.
But to to lose to them, you're not going to fall back in the rankings. And as long as you continue playing the way you are and winning the next couple of games, then you should be good. But like, hats off to like Notre Dame, for example. I mean, that terrible loss against Northern Illinois. They could have unraveled right there, and they've really like pieced that team back together, and just like the mentality to come back after a loss. That's a program, could be a program altering loss. Like you saw Florida State just unravel to no end. And so Notre Dame to be at 10, I think that's a pretty big accomplishment from where they were.
By the way, all the parity this year, I'm so glad they moved to 12, because you just know when it came time at the end of the year to pick the top 4, there would easily be 1, maybe 2 spots of teams that shouldn't be in there would be in there.
Like, no one's going to complain that SMU should have got in over Boise State.
Yeah. It's so weird how it was like 2 for like half a century. Yeah. And then like the last 6 to 8 years they changed it to 4 maybe, and now it's just like boom 12. But you don't have to worry about the controversy. I'm so tired of Penn State. They somehow get to the Big Ten championship, but now they lose it and it hurts them, even though they somehow were ahead of Ohio. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, and it's like it makes every week I think a little more interesting too, because you have all these spots up for grabs. Yeah. It's exciting, and to see. I mean, you would have never thought playoffs for like a team like SMU or Washington State or
Kansas State.
Oh yeah, Kansas State in there.
I mean, essentially now, like if you can become right,
BYU, Indiana,
BYU's ridiculous.
Iowa State,
yeah. But now it's cool because like when you watch college football, especially as a kid growing up, you're like, okay, you look for the number. You're like, they're ranked. They're top 25. They're top 25. Really, still meant nothing. Now, if you can become ranked, you're 1 or 2 good wins and 1 or 2 losses in the top half of the ranked teams into a playoff spot. Like, that's how significant now being ranked becomes. Like, you just need that little number by you. That's all you need. It could be 24, 25. There's some trash teams out there sometimes, but you get to that spot and you get a couple more good wins and you never know.
Yeah, it's been crazy. And it feels like every single week there's top ranked matchups, like top 5 matchups, and for certain like top 20 matchups. There's been every single week. I don't think that there hasn't been a week actually since we kicked off where there hasn't been one single top 5 matchup. Like I think every week somebody's had to put their number up again on the line, and it's been awesome. It's been a really good year for college football. I feel like there's been not a lot of controversy, and it's just been straight up who's the best team, and we're trying to find out.
That's the only good thing about the SEC and Big Ten essentially being stacked is because you get a lot more of those matchups, and it creates a lot more losses and parity in a way. But go ahead, Ben.
No, I was just gonna say I was kind of like seeing all the parity. Like I didn't get an NCAA football, but I was like, that'd be kind of fun to play. Like watching some of this stuff unfold, but I also forgot they didn't make it for PS4. So
what? They didn't make
I'm pretty sure they only made a PS5 and up, like PS4.
Oh, that's
lame.
Yeah. So, you definitely know. I went back and avenged Penn State's loss to Ohio State. I did some dirty things to Ohio State the last few days just to get it out of my system.
I think of the new 2K25 though. So I've been playing some NBA.
Nice.
NBA, WNBA.
Oh yeah, is this the first one that has WNBA? Second.
But it's definitely a little more extensive in this one. The only downside, they've made the WNBA, but you can't play like a dynasty. You can only play like a seasons at a time type of thing. So I wish they would make like a little dynasty type thing out of it. But yeah. So should we? I mean, on that, get into a little bit of basketball while we're at it. We haven't talked at all about the NBA. I know you guys kind of been
what, 2 weeks in now?
A little bit of a rough start.
Not much to talk about for us, I would say.
I mean, oh my gosh.
Boy, just another year, slow start.
Hey, you're above Doc.
NBA. I mean, So Sixers, like I can just briefly, 1-5. It's not the start they wanted, but kind of the start we were expecting. You basically went all in on 3 guys: Joel Embiid, Paul George, Tyrese Maxey. Everyone knows. So everyone else is, I'm not saying scrubs, but it's a bunch of those 1 to 2 year deals. A couple technical difficulties there.
Yeah, forgot to take that down.
No, all good, all good. But so it's kind of is what it is, and it's a little frustrating. The Embiid stuff's a little frustrating with me because I feel like Embiid's one of those guys who wants to be out there, and I feel like he's getting hated on right now for not playing. I don't even think it's entirely his choice. I think they're really trying to be cautious with him. I mean, I don't blame the guy for wanting to play in the Olympics. You know, he's at the edge of his prime, right? So, you know, another 4 years comes by, and he had to take care of the knee. The Paul George, obviously, it sucks that he got injured in the preseason, but he did finally play his first game out in Phoenix. Which, by the way, Phoenix Suns, all three of their big three playing: Brad Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and they're all playing well.
Yeah.
Hot start for the Suns. They're already probably played more games together this year than they did all last year.
I mean, we talked about it. It takes time sometimes to figure that stuff out, and people don't always. People think it's supposed to mesh right away.
Yeah.
But, you know, if they can play like this for a more extended period of time, they're a scary team.
I give them credit for running it back too. A lot of times those caliber, especially a guy like Kevin Durant, I don't know, he's easily
a little snaky.
Yeah, well, like in Brooklyn, how long did they stay together when they had those three there? It was like 2 years, but they barely played, and it wasn't long. Like you were saying, like they just decided to like cut it right there.
And it's almost like, I mean, and you can see that again. It could be championship or bust for the Suns. If they don't win it again, you could see like Durant just go to the Mavs. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean,
who knows?
Yeah, I think he's 36. I think I always think he's older than he is because he came in the league so young and for a Seattle team.
I know. What did he debut at 12 or something like that?
Yeah.
I feel like he was just out of middle school.
2009, right? With Greg Oden.
Yeah. But as bad as the Sixers season has started, getting Paul George back in Phoenix last night was the first time this year they really looked like competitive throughout all 48. I mean, they're playing a good team. Paul George has had 0 minutes. You know, I mean, you look at their lineup up and down. It's like Tyrese Maxey and company. And you add up George, and just him being out there. I know he shot 4 for 14. He didn't do a whole ton on the offensive end. I think 1 for 7 from 3. That can be his bread and butter sometimes. But just him being out on the floor, that veteran leadership, able to defend multiple players on the defensive side, it kept them competitive. And yeah, they didn't get the win, but it made me feel a lot better at 1-5 than it had been to start the year. I mean,
did he guard Booker?
I actually didn't watch the game.
Oh, because the reason I was asking is because Booker was, I know he's a great defender too, and Booker was 3 for 18 shooting. So I was wondering if, because even if he didn't have that game on offense, if he was the one guarding Booker, I mean,
you call me out.
Hold Booker 3 for 18.
You call me out on the spot.
I wasn't trying to. I didn't know that.
You know, I got caught in my hand in the Kansas City Chiefs cookie jar there. I was watching the Chiefs Buccaneers game last night, so I didn't catch this. There's freaking West Coast games. They're just so late. Didn't start the time.
Yeah,
I get that.
Plus, I feel like the NBA needs a little time to get heated up. Like, there's teams that aren't going to do anything these first 20, and then they turn it on.
Yeah, and I just know early in the year is when this in-season tournament is. I hate that. My biggest fear, honestly, early in the NBA season is turning on the game and seeing like the bright red court that just hurts my eyes.
Oh yeah,
I'm not ready.
Are they bringing that back this year?
Yes. Oh yeah.
They didn't even switch it. Oh my.
The in-season
thing? Yeah, the instant. Oh yeah.
And the crazy thing is stealing it from the WNBA, but it matters a lot more there because of the paychecks. And they get the amount they get is literally more than half of what their like full season paychecks are. Like, I mean, that's a big deal for them. Like, so that's why it's actually like fine. I don't mind it in the WNBA, but
I mean, it's in the futures in the NBA. You can go on to FanDuel, DraftKings right now. You know, bet who's going to win the NC. It's so dumb.
It is.
Who's favored right now?
It's so dumb. But no, ultimately, I know there's a lot going on with Embiid right now, and I'm going to have his back on this one. I mean, suspended 3 additional games, hasn't played yet for obviously pushing the reporter on his take on Embiid's professionalism, and obviously Embiid doesn't help himself there, right? But I mean, he's been through a lot. He's a 10-year veteran, been through Philly through thick and thin. He's a 7'2", 260, 270, 280 kind of guy. They in the NBA, I mean, look at Shaq's history. It's hard to hold up. I understand what the team's doing. The only thing that doesn't make sense to me is why now. Oh, we can't let Embiid ever play unless he's 100%. Like, okay, you could have did this like 4 years ago too, but whatever.
Yeah.
So now young NBA season, there's not a whole ton to talk about. But I didn't make it an AFR bet. I'm glad I did take the under 57.5 wins for the OKC Thunder. No way they were going to repeat themselves. They're 7-0 to start the year. So
worst case scenario right there.
Yeah.
Every league I usually do one futures over under, and I took the Cowboys over 9.5 wins. That's not looking too tasty right now, and the Thunder are looking even worse. So
it's okay. I'm on parlays with the Mets championships are toast.
Oh yeah, I forgot that the Mets didn't make the World Series.
All those futures bets. I had some cash outs too.
Yeah. Oh, well, we should talk about my future bet. He finally got kicked, and it's no longer going to cash.
Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately, Christopher Bell, the magical season came to an end. He didn't make the cut into the last few races here. So what was a spectacular season, I would say. He definitely maxed out. I think he had 6 wins on the year. He was cruising early. A lot of those came before the All-Star break, and then then he had a few duds in there, and those are just because of wrecks he got caught up in. But
he never dropped off.
He was there till the end. I got to give it to him.
Yeah,
he got really slumped.
It is hard when you don't see a win after win, but top 5, top 3.
Yeah, if anyone rode with that bet, like that was a good pick. That was a good
pick. For sure. It was a fun one for a long NASCAR's long because they only race once a week, and it's like an NBA type season. So
we start a week or two after the Super Bowl. So this has been going since February. We've been keeping on, and it's still going. We have a few races left. The top 4 is locked in. Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano, 2 guys who are just on fire right now. For Penske, they've really turned it on. Logano's looking for his 3rd. Blaney obviously won last year, so he's looking to be a repeat champ. First time in a long time we've had a repeat guy go. And Hannah's guy, she loves Ryan Blaney, so we still got some skin in the game here. And he's still looking good. And Joey Logano, the Connecticut boy, one of the only handful of races from Connecticut. So yeah, if Ben, you're still in. If you're going for Logano, you're still in it.
Yeah,
and then
you probably don't even remember. I feel like you said that.
I do.
Is that you said that might be my guy?
I mean, I said I guess if I had a NASCAR guy, that'd be it.
Yeah,
but I don't
maybe.
I'm not there yet. I will say, not to get off track, but for sports cards, some of the NASCAR cards look like the coolest. They put some 101 patches in. That's just like the logo of the fire suit. So like there's like Sunoco, so like a full patch on a car is pretty lit, and it's like the one that they wore from like a race.
Yeah,
those are pretty cool.
That's cool.
Is the NASCAR market decent? Like, are they?
It's actually it's actually really reasonable. Like to get really cool cards. Like people don't. And like boxes. So like you could literally, I think WNBA is more expensive.
Why do you always compare WNBA to NASCAR?
Did I do that last week?
You said last week I feel like you transitioned from you said opposite ends, I guess last week. But
yeah.
It seems like you always pair one with the other.
Well, I was thinking of sports cards because
is that a comp? Those are sports cards?
No, I feel like WNBA, the sports card market is higher now. Okay. I feel like sports cards, they're fairly similar.
Okay.
But because they're both Panini, they're both Panini's the brand that produces them and stuff.
Yeah, and Panini, they've had the cars that they sponsor this year have been really cool designs. Like they're really, I'm liking what they're doing there.
They're not they're not a bad company. They're just they can't compete with Fanatics.
Sorry, but Chase, NASCAR, this is the last race, right?
Yeah. Sorry, cut out there. So it's closing in on it. So we're gonna get to the end of it, but it's been a ride. It's definitely been a lot of up and down. I would say that the biggest storyline though is Denny Hamlin doesn't make it in, and he's still searching for that elusive first cup, and it really kind of caps the season where just confusing decisions and times where he's got boned. The amount of times where he's gambled and won versus the times he's gambled and lost this season felt like it was a lot of shots and misses on his end. So obviously he's getting older. I don't know how many more years he can really go at it. And with this whole charter things going on, it's really going to be interesting to see what happens with him. But I don't think I feel like he's maybe got like 2 years left. Like it's just hard on the body. And he's already got shoulder issues that have been lingering for a lot of his career. So we'll see where it goes. But it was definitely a guy who was probably one of the favorites to win the cup, and just again comes up short. But so we're either going to have a repeat guy, or I think 2 new guys are in. Reddick's in there. No, it's actually 3 guys who've won before in Reddick. So either we're going to get a whole new champ or guys who have won it before. So
Yeah,
we'll see. But
Yeah.
it's
Well,
going to be interesting.
Yeah, it'll cap off a NASCAR season that, I mean, not just a Christopher Bell pick. You had, was it the Denny Hamlin pick that we all rode? Was that Denny Hamlin?
It was the Kyle Busch,
Kyle
Kurt
Busch.
Busch. Yeah,
We all
Kyle
rode.
Busch to finish top 3. Yeah.
Yeah, we all hit that one. Like you guys, I
Yeah.
feel like you've been on with your NASCAR picks this
Yeah.
year. So
Yeah, it's been coming through. I'm definitely happy we've gotten back in. I'm happy I've got to share it with you guys and all the
Yeah.
listeners of the podcast. It's been a reawakening, and it made me realize a lot of memories I had as a kid and just growing up with the sport. I know it's not the flashiest, but as compared to F1, I feel like NASCAR, better product. F1, whoever qualifies first, most likely is going to win. It's Max Verstappen. No one gives a shit. Who cares? The races are on at like 3 a.m. sometimes. That's BS. I'm not waking up to watch somebody dominate the whole race. I'd rather watch in very good parity within NASCAR. You never know who's going to win it. Some guys are hot, and then they'll eat shit for 4 weeks and then do nothing, and then they'll come back at it. So I think it's just a better product overall. If I had to pick F1 versus NASCAR all the way, 1,000%, no doubt about it.
Ooh, it's
And,
good.
right.
I know
yeah.
we've been trying to get one of our buddies, Gordon Filberg, on here. He's a big F1 fan, so that could be a little mini
we can
debate.
debate it. Yeah.
Yeah, a little mini debate we could get
Oh,
going
yeah,
there.
Ryan and I can moderate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it would go down. NASCAR has been diversifying. They're not just always, turn the car one way. NASCAR, they heard the criticism. They've been trying out a few things, a little roval action.
Yeah.
Sometimes just straight up road courses. So they've been giving it. And I feel like the drivers as a whole, much more competitive. I feel like they could be dropped into any sport and dominate. And I don't think it works the other way around. So we'll see. But yeah, it's exciting. Also, that documentary series that Netflix was doing, the second half finally comes out a year later. If you're holding your breath, you probably died, but don't worry, we'll resuscitate you and bring you back.
That's Netflix.
It's happening.
Chase, that's Netflix. I feel like they're just always always out that.
I think they wanted to test it, see how it was going to do. I think it went over pretty well, and I think they took advantage of this full season filming it, so there'll have to be a lot more to go through, and hopefully they can really capture the essence of this playoffs again, because that was really what they focused on last year. 4 episodes, short and sweet, just the playoffs. So hopefully this year it's a little bit more and get a little in depth, because these guys are interesting dudes. Like, they're, as much as they're on a team, they're pretty solitary. Like, they kind of do their own thing, and they start to develop some cool habits and different interests, and they're almost like golfers in a way, if I had to compare them to something, because like they have time during the week, so it's interesting to see what they can get into. Pretty charitable guys overall, so it's really neat. It's cool to get that little access pass, and Netflix has done a really good job with that in every single sport. They've really done a good job. Basketball, football, they've
I know I gotta get on that train. I
Yeah.
I haven't watched any of these yet. I'm finally gonna get around to watching Starting Five here soon.
Oh yeah, that's just coming out right for the season.
Yeah, it just came out. I think 4 or 5 players. LeBron, of course, but Anthony Edwards,
Harden, Halliburton.
So yeah, I have to get on that just to watch.
Yeah,
it.
Harden, just nightclubs. I feel like there's not a whole lot going there.
No, yeah, just
nightclubs and recording songs with Lil Baby. So that'd be cool to see.
Yeah.
Just him and Chris Paul at Lil Baby concerts. So.
Yeah, just behind the scenes, just in there. 3 a.m. and he has a game at 7 that night.
Yep.
Just throwing out some lyrics, bumping it up.
Yeah.
chopping it in the lab with little baby.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, this is a good one. This is a good show.
Yeah,
It's
so I think
been a
we'll end
fun-
it there. We had a good couple segments, and whatever you're doing tonight, if you're watching election coverage, just stay safe out there.
It's not a sport.
Don't get crazy.
Yeah.
It's not a
No
sport.
matter what happens, we're still in it.
We're still in it. Yep.
Yeah.
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 We'll be here next Tuesday, no matter what.
Yes, we will.
Just remember that.
We'll be here.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing
All
will
right.
happen to us because we're not set on that. We're just set on sports.
Yep.
That's right.
All right.
Every sport, all sports, all the time,
Except for cricket.
except for cricket.
Established right now by
Okay.
me. I might change my mind next week.
Yeah.
So deep we get into it.
Yeah. But I feel like pound for pound, we definitely are the most diverse of talking about every single sport. We
Yeah.
dip
Yes.
the toe in.
100%. So,
Yeah.
all right, episode 85. I think that was a good one. We'll see you guys next week.
Ben Ryan Chase. Peace. Is this the whole thing? Were there any comments? I forgot. I should have pulled it.
No, I was looking.
There wasn't any comments.